is
The city of Gary?
let's call it the Gary Challenge right now. People are getting shot on a regular basis. Karen Freeman Wilson was on here saying, well, actually, less people are getting shot, more people are getting killed. So there's less woundings and more murders, but still, they're one of the most, probably the most dangerous city in America right now, or at least right there up at the top. What do we do?
I've been listening to a lot of that stuff, and the challenges out of the city of Gary have been continual for some time. I mean, they've had different subject matters that have bubbled up as far as what we've looked at as the challenge, but right now, my opinion, it's one thing and one thing only. This is a gang war. And nobody's on here talking about, it being a gang war. They're talking about gun control, and I want to be an ambassador and do all this. I mean, you got a gang war going on, and people are talking about guns. And I'm challenged because nobody's trying to treat the problem. They're all trying to treat the symptom. And until I think that changes, in my opinion, it's going to be a battle that's going to be ongoing. And without the resources that we've currently have, I can't see if we have all of these, gang task force and all these gang things and all this stuff, why they're not in there doing a full court press on these kids to be able to try to make sure you clean them up every 2 weeks, put them all in the pokey and say, here's what's going to happen, and start trying to change the dynamic of what's happening over there.
On 60 Minutes last night, one of the better stories I've ever seen on there, they did the story of a guy who came back from Iraq, and evidently Springfield, Massachusetts is a very dangerous town, kind of racially diverse, but just about as dangerous as they get. And quite frankly, they showed a lot of footage of it. It didn't look nearly as dangerous as Gary, but very dangerous, at least in terms of Boston area metrics. And the guy comes back from Iraq, and they use counterterrorism tactics in the city of Springfield, Massachusetts. In other words, they brought in the state police, and they weren't just there to drive around and figure out what was going on. They use actual military tactics to go in, befriend the people in the community, and basically get the community to start policing itself. In other words, get people to trust the cops, trust the state police that are aiding the local police, go block by block, knocking on doors, talking to all the different people, what's going on in your community, getting confidential ways to give information up on who's dealing drugs and who's not. In other words, they at some points in Springfield, they had guys just driving around with AK-47s. It was like it was almost like Iraq, the guy said.
And that's scary. And, let's face it, you and I aren't going to know what it's like to grow up in that kind of environment. But, let's face it, if you can try to, look at it from a standpoint of saying, listen, if you're 12, 13 years old and you don't think there's much opportunity to do anything other than to get out of your neighborhood, and you see one guy over here and he's got a fancy car and he's got a bunch of money and all the girls like him, versus this other guy who's got a job at the local restaurant, he doesn't have any money and he's struggling. You have to look at it from that kind of a dynamic if you're growing up in that environment. And if it's showing that there's the only way to make money is to get into that lifestyle that doesn't provide a lot of alternatives for the kids these days.
209-845-1100. Ramon, how you been?
Yeah, who is that guy you talking to? Because I wasn't really paying too much attention to his name. I was just listening.
Oh, Bill Baker?
Yeah, because he's calling it gang war, and it ain't no gang war.
All right.
Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. You can come with me today, tomorrow, and I will drive you around, and I will show you every inch, Gary, and I'll show you all the people, and I'll show you where a lot of that stuff happening. It ain't no gang war. These people just shooting each other. It ain't cause no gang affiliation. They just, I don't know, they must be angry, but don't keep calling it. It ain't no gang war.
So, Ramon, I have a question. You live in Gary. Do you think...
You can't question me. You got to come with me. Because if I give you the answer to the question, you still ain't going to understand it. You got to come with me, and I can show it to you.
All right. That would be interesting. I would find that if Dedelow would go with me, I'd be more than happy to do it.
You scared or something?
No, not at all.
Well, why he don't have to come?
Why did you invite me?
Well, you bringing
You
somebody.
invited me? Well,
You
because
the one that said it's a gang.
I don't know you. Why would I come with you? I don't know who you are.
And I don't know who you are.
Well-
But you making an opinion about where I live.
He asked the question of what happens in Gary. So one of the things I think is going on is why is the people of Gary so defensive? Is some lily white
we ain't
wonderbread
defending-
guy?
You called it a gang war. These little boys got the juice from the playing them video games.
So you think it's video
Shooting-
games?
From shooting, because you never did it. You don't understand why they doing this. But you keep calling it a gang war, and it ain't. It ain't nothing like that 70s thing with the family. It's nothing compared to that.
So but it's gang wars and the music, and that's why they're shooting each other?
No, I said it ain't no gang war. You keep saying it's a gang war. It's not.
What is it then?
Just something happening, some kind of epidemic. I can show it to you. I used to be in a gang. I'm telling you, it ain't no gang war. I lived there.
So, let me ask you this question.
I got kids. I got a 17-year-old, 15-year-old, 13, 21, 22, and there ain't nothing happening to them, but it is a gang. It ain't no gang war that's happening out there.
So none of the stuff happening in Chicago
I don't live in Chicago.
is not spilling over into Northwest Indiana.
I don't know that because I don't live in Chicago. I'm trying to tell you about Gary. It's not a gang war.
All right, let's get back to this invitation. Now, Ramon is inviting you to come with
And
him.
You like this,
That's
don't
what's
you?
wrong with him.
And he
scared,
doesn't.
But he want everybody in Gary to do something about it, but he's scared to come look at it too. He's just trying to figure out what he reading the paper, and it's all wrong. I'm telling you.
So you're going to take me around and you're going to show me the reason.
She'll take you around.
Huh?
You can call a man. She'll be happy to take you around if you want to get the facts straight.
No, but he wants to go with you. Would you do it?
Huh?
You take him around on a Saturday afternoon?
He'd still probably be scared, though, because he don't want to go where I know where to go, see?
Hold on a second, though. Would you take him around on a Saturday afternoon?
Yeah.
And the only reason that
I
I
bring
would...
the camera and film everything.
All right, and in other words, he doesn't have to bring me,
I
but...
mean, you can come, because we can stop by Michael Jackson's house and take a picture. I took pictures of my son them just Saturday and yesterday in front of the house, because, I used to live on that street. My grandfather lived on that street, and we used to live at 2315 Jackson.
So what would you want to show us, Ramon?
I show you the hot spots where all these people keep getting murdered at. It's just random robbery, most of them. But it's got these young dudes with the guns. But it ain't no gang war.
All right, man. Let's set this
I
up.
can take you to the real hot spot.
Hold on a second.
If you got enough nerve to go with me.
This has some legs, Ramon.
Huh?
This has some legs. If I can get Baker to work this out, we're talking like a Saturday afternoon because we all work.
Scared, though.
All right, man. Let's talk to you. 219-845.